back, everybody. On today's episode, it is another Gear Review Wednesday, and this time I am super excited, and that's because what I got sent is something that I've wanted for a very, very long time, and it's also going to be able to give me some incredible footage for the channel. All right, and what I got is this. This is an underwater camera, not for ice fishing, although you could probably use it for that, but this is for open water fishing, and it attaches to your fishing line. This is the Canfish Fishing CamX from Chasing, and I am going to test this thing out today. I will first do an unboxing just to show you what comes in here, and then I'm going to test it out on the water on the lake behind me to see if I can catch a fish and get some strikes on camera. So let's get right to it. Thanks to Chasing for sending this to me. It is, I'm so excited to use this thing, and also a little bit terrified. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But for now, let's show you what comes in the box. All right, let's talk a little bit about the specs of this camera, and there is some information on the box. It's got a 136-degree ultra wide angle lens, so you're gonna get a big field of view. It's got about 138 minutes of battery life. It can go to 656 feet, so it's ocean ready, but obviously I'm not going to be using for anything that deep. And the Wi-Fi signal is up to 164 feet away, and it's got some other features like wireless charging that I'll talk about in a minute. Let's look at what's in the box. First and foremost, you've got some information cards, and these are pretty important because they have some links to the Canfish website, but they also have some other instructions on this one, including the contents of the box, how you rig up the camera, and then a QR code to download the app on your phone that you will need to use the camera. Then some safety tips for using the camera. And then we get into the actual stuff that's in the box itself, including the first thing you see is the camera here, looking pretty sleek. It's got some fins on it here to stabilize it, and then you've got the attachments. You also have the on-off switch on the bottom, and that switch is very tight. So one of the things about it is you're not gonna bump it and shut your camera off while it's underwater. You really need to push that thing to slide it. So that's actually a good feature. And underneath that, we've got the other accessories that come with it in the box. The first one here is pretty interesting. This one is a float, and what it allows you to do is to actually use this camera vertically. And so it's this little foam float, and you can insert the camera in there while it's on your line, as you can see here, and then you can shoot footage straight down. Now, this is interesting to me because you could either use that under a bobber or the float is a bobber, or you can use it in ice fishing, which I might try to do. In addition to that, you've got your charging cable and the charging base. And the charging cable does not come with a power adapter, so you can use like an iPhone cable, but it doesn't come with a plug. So it just plugs into this base unit, and then you have to either attach it to the USB on a computer or onto a box. All right, everybody, so here it is, the Canfish camera. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to rig this. I have 25-pound braided spider wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the spider wire to one end, and that will be the strong line. Then on the front grommet here, I'm going to tie some 12-pound P-line fluoro. So the recommended use here is that your front line be lighter, obviously, than your back line. So if it needs to break, it's going to break here along with the hook, and that's the part that rips off so you don't lose your camera. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I am still nervous about this because pike have very, very sharp teeth, and they can cut through this kind of braid. And if the pike goes for this camera instead of the lure that I'm going to have on here, that might not go very well. So this kind of stuff really makes me nervous, but hey, I got to give it a shot. So let me get this rigged up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, everybody, so here's my setup. I have tied my camera to my braid. I then have about 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches of 12-pound fluoro, and then a leader with my lure. So that is the setup. This is going to trail through the water behind the camera. The camera's going to be watching the hook, and we should see any strikes. So I really hope that this holds up, and that we don't have any mishaps. The next thing to do is to test that the Wi-Fi is working on the camera, and for that I need to sync it to my phone with the Canfish app. So the first thing I have to do is turn this on, which is not that easy to do, but there we go. The camera is on, so it should now be broadcasting a Wi-Fi signal. There it is. So now we connect to the camera, and this is going to allow me to test that it's functioning properly. So we're connected to the Canfish camera. If I go to the app now and show you this, I can enter the camera, and there we go. And you can see I've got the camera going and it's looking at me. So now I have been told that as soon as this hits the water, I'm going to lose this feed because it doesn't transmit to your phone while it's underwater. But at least I can test to see that it's working. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to troll this thing, and hopefully it works. We'll see if it actually... Here's a view underwater of the bottom. It's still transmitting right now because I haven't completely submerged it. But if I put it right under the water, well, it's still transmitting. Still, oh, there, it just stopped. So yeah, as soon as it gets too far underwater, it stops transmitting. All right, wish me luck, everybody. I'm going to give this thing a test. So a little bit of my tactics on how I'm using this thing. It's too heavy to cast, and I'd risk busting my line. So what I'm doing is I'm just slowly letting it out like that, and then eventually I put it in and I just let out some more line while I'm paddling, and it drops down, as you can see, and then it trails. So now if I just left it there right beside the kayak, it actually comes up because it's a little bit buoyant and aerodynamic. As you can see, it's coming up to the surface here. But as soon as I let out more line, that'll sink down. And there we go. I'll just let out a little bit at a time. All right, you guys, we got a fish with the Canfish on there. We got one. This is crazy. And it took about 5 minutes, maybe not even, but we got a strike with the Canfish, and there we go. There's the camera, and there's the fish. That's great stuff. So I hope all of that footage worked out. I gotta be really careful here because I don't want to bust that fluoro either. And there we go. All right, you guys, I am back, and that is going to do it for this episode of unboxing and testing the fishing CamX from Chasing. I am going to really enjoy using this thing in the future and getting some more footage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first look. There's definitely going to be more to come. And with that, if you liked the video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and until next time, good fishing.